The No Kings protests happened this weekend, and boy did the media love it. But they're forgetting one little inconvenient fact. Let's get into it. Over the weekend, there were more than 2,600 planned No Kings protests across America and other countries. Organisers reckon 7 million people attended them. And look at the earth-shaking changes to America that they've caused. All right, I'm being told there's actual no evidence of this, but we're going to crack on regardless. Look, I'm not knocking people getting together and having a protest. The First Amendment is just beautiful. As an Australian, I am so jealous Americans have it. But what I am knocking is the US media types who think that this weekend was in any way important. Let's start with Rachel Maddow. So Rachel Maddow is paid reportedly $25 million a year to do one show a week. And on this week's show, she spent 20 minutes, I'm not kidding, 20 minutes going through each state and what protests were there. Here's how it started.
Start in the great state of Alabama. At least 15 No Kings protests all around the state of Alabama.
And it went on and on and on.
50 different events. Here's New Haven and Milford and Westport and Hartford. The state capitol was a huge turnout at the state capitol in Connecticut this weekend. Louisiana had at least 11 different No Kings protests all over the state. Here's New Orleans and Baton Rouge and Lafayette. Here's also Little Compton, Rhode Island on the upper right there. East Greenwich and Westerly, Rhode Island saw tons of people turn out.
Rachel Maddow is one of the highest paid television stars on cable, and she spent over a third of her show to just reading a map. I mean, that is an incredible life. I'm sure her colleagues at MSNBC were watching that, wishing they were on that cash, and they've been grinding their fingers to the bone to come up with the best analysis or the hottest takes, so they're going to get them to the top. No. Basic geography. That's how you get to the best. Now, over on The Late Show, Stephen Colbert kept up this weird tradition of being like a crappy rock artist and just naming places and hoping to get a woo back from the crowd.
The far-left loons were out and proud in all the bastions of liberal anarchy. Lee's Summit, Missouri, Sarasota, Florida, Plano, Texas, Mount Vernon, Iowa, Leesburg, Virginia, and Pocatello, Idaho.
You know what I'm noticing? Maddow and Colbert are using a lot of news camera footage of the protests and not so much videos that they took themselves when they were surely there. Happy to donate sizable parts of their show to the protest that is so important, but not so much turning up themselves. But here's the thing. I used to think Stephen Colbert was one of the funniest people going. I mean, what he did on The Daily Show, The Colbert Report, after you've watched this video and like 20 other videos from Sky News, go to YouTube, waiters who are nauseated by food, and you tell me this guy wasn't hilarious at one point. And they've taken that comedic genius, and here's what we have now.
Even the people in Idaho turned out on Saturday to tell Trump, no, Idaho.
And I guess he's now doing jokes like that. Really funny stuff. He even busted out this simply hilarious Bernie Sanders impersonation.
Millions of Americans are coming out today not because they hate America. We're here because we love America.
This is true. We're here today. We're here because we love America, especially this time of year when it gets a little cold. You can warm up with a hot, steaming bowl of America. I'm sorry, I was thinking about soup, but America, still good too. And our Constitution, the Constitution clearly states 1 medium onion chopped, 4 cups of chicken stock. Oh, soup again. I was on the soup.
We didn't know how good we had it with Conan and Letterman, I'm telling you. And then he gets back to praising the protesters. Now, look, if I wanted to back in a huge public protest movement, I'd want to point out the good points that they were making. Make them look good, influential, important. I guess that's why I'm not a talk show host.
Take a look at these creatures and one dancing poop doing the Macarena. It's fun. That's fun, but I got to say, the Macarena is a very, very difficult dance for the T-Rex.
That right there is truly the end of Donald Trump. Once Colbert breaks out the Tyrannosaurus Macarena, your days in this industry are numbered. Now, the other part of this protest was the Trump AI video of him flying a fighter jet over protesters and spraying "You'll see." To be honest, you'd hope Trump is better than posting that video. It's not great for a president to see his own citizens as deserving of being bombarded with feces, even if they're protesting against him. But what gets me is that when Colbert plays this video in that editorial, he goes on this big victory lap of announcing how brave he is for playing it.
I want to take a second here to thank CBS for letting us show that video on television because some networks are not showing that video because it's so disturbing. There's rational reasons to not show that video. But I think we're way beyond rationality at this point.
A true American hero playing a video that was everywhere on the internet. Television is no longer the same. But here's the inconvenient fact that Colbert, Maddow, all these, The View, they're all forgetting. Sure, there's a lot of protests, and sure, a lot of people turned up, and it must have felt really good to see all those people there agreeing with what you say. But if we're talking numbers, sure, 7 million is high. It's not close to the 77 million people who voted for Donald Trump. So I don't want to see any more jumping up and down saying these No Kings protests are a massive movement, that American political culture has changed, that it's some indication of a massive groundswell against Donald Trump. It's just one big fun day out with friends. All right, so that's it from me. Remember to like and subscribe to Sky News Australia so you can see not just my videos, but all the videos we have here from our wonderful commentators. See you next week.